Hello, everybody. It's Jake. I am just going to be making a brief, I don't know about brief, but TikTok guide for all of our different partners and friends. We've had a lot of people ask us questions about these over the past year, and I just figured consolidating all of the research and all of the responses that we've seen around the internet into one place might be a good place to start to help people get better engagement and interaction and more followers, more subscribers, and whatnot on the platform. This is Jake from the future. I just wanted to mention here that this is a very subjective guide that we have collected from reading Reddit posts and TikTok forum posts and responses to those posts. So don't take this too literally. Take it with a grain of salt, of course. This is just our advice on how to not get banned or restricted on TikTok. So I'm going to run through these really quick and then I'm going to come back over and just give a rant about them. But I figured just doing a rundown really quick is going to be the fastest way to get this across. So, first and foremost, you want to warm your account. If you have a new account, then you need to establish yourself as a human, regular user on the application before you try to begin fundraising or community building. If you look like a robot to TikTok's auto moderation, they're going to restrict your account. They might ban you. They're going to make it very difficult for you to succeed on the platform. The second is who you follow and interact with determines who TikTok shows your profile to. I cannot stress this enough. I'll come back to this with an example. Using too many hashtags will too finely curate your content for their algorithm, significantly halting the potential traffic you could be getting to your page and posts. Once again, I'll return to this with a little bit more information. The 10 to 20 posts rule means that you should, while you're warming your account, avoid any form of advertisement, promotion, sharing in the first 15 to 20 posts that you make. If TikTok detects that you might be trying to sell anything with your new account under 20 posts, they'll significantly bottleneck your traffic on your page. So in terms of flaggable activity, the core flaggable activity that we've noticed is spam. So avoid following, liking, sharing posts in bulk. It doesn't look human to TikTok's auto moderation. TikTok will make it so that you are unable to follow more accounts for 1 to 14 days if you spam follow or spam like posts. So that just means, if you go through and just double tap on 30 posts in a row, they might have a problem with it. Or if you go through and follow 30 to 50 people and go to somebody else's followers and just start following all of those people, then it's going to restrict your account. Deleting videos. So TikTok, for some dumb reason, is not a fan of new accounts deleting videos. And even old accounts as well. If you need to remove a video due to an error in the video or in your post, just change the privacy settings to a private video. There's certain logic that it kind of explains why they don't like you deleting videos, but it's one of the most common responses that we see in Reddit or even in like TikTok forums, people being like, oh no, I deleted a video, what should I do? And people are like, oh, time to make a new account. You deleted a video. Link sharing. This is a very large one. We see this all the time. And I'm specifically talking about sharing links in posts, but also in live feeds or comments is typically not permitted by TikTok's rules, their community content guidelines. Doing so repeatedly can make TikTok very suspicious of the legitimacy of your account. So this one's pretty self-explanatory. Just try not to share links to things in your posts. You really do have to optimize the one link that you're allowed in your bio to encompass everything that you want it to have. And you can typically do that with a link tree. We just learned about Bento. Bento is a great way to do that. Bento, and I'll put a link to that in the description. Lastly, in terms of flaggable activity, we have leet speak. This is a Zoomer term, and it basically means using letters and special characters throughout your words. It's flagged as a suspicious activity, which TikTok detects as trying to bypass profanity and safety filters in comments or live chats. So, as an example, you saying the word shit, but then using a one for the I and a plus sign for the T. It would detect that you were using leet speak and it might flag your account. I haven't seen this happen firsthand, but I've heard many times from users that this is a problem. So, lastly, it's really important to know about inclusion versus over inclusion, right? And even under inclusion here. And this kind of piggybacks off of shadow ban paranoia avoidance, right? Being worried that your account is restricted even though it might not be. Don't be too focused on whether or not you might be shadow banned. Take a very short break from the app if you can't follow any accounts, you can't like any posts, your videos aren't getting any engagement. And what I mean by that is your videos aren't breaking 1 to 200 views. So if you get 15 views on a post, that means that one, that video wasn't sent to anybody's For You page, and it was typically just your followers that saw it. The last thing in this is that you should avoid checking or posting about getting shadow banned on Reddit. If you make a post on Reddit saying, "Oh, I followed a bunch of people and now I can't follow anybody anymore. I think that my account is shadow banned or I think that my account is restricted." People are going to be like, "Shut up. No, it's not. Blah 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 blah. Just wait a few days, blah 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 blah." And it becomes a dog pile, and I would highly advise against doing that. So, going back to the top here, I pretty much explained the warm your account. The core idea behind this is that there are bots that make accounts and go around and are designed to emulate human behavior, down to like waiting a few seconds between scrolling to the next content and liking it and following accounts. So you really do just have to be a human on these applications and let your humanity show on these platforms in order to not be flagged. And this is what's just called warming an account. Who you follow and interact with will determine who TikTok shows your profile to. So my example that I can give for this is when I created the Faulkner Fellowship account and when I created the Stream Your Care account, I went around while warming the account and followed a bunch of nursing homes. I followed a bunch of accessibility advocate organizations. And even though there's lots of benefits to TikTok now showing my page to a bunch of seniors, it's also important to remember that seniors are less tech literate. They don't have as much tech savvy as we do. And so it's important to keep that in mind that whenever you do go around and establish your audience by following and interacting with people, that you aim for a wider range of people instead of just front loading it into one demographic group. Um, so, it helps to really embrace your personality and yourself while you're warming up your account because you'll want a wider scope or wider threshold for this. Using too many hashtags will too finely curate your content for their algorithm. So this means that this is a debated topic, but my understanding is that you want to very carefully decide what hashtags you want to use, and you never want to include more than, I mean, 5 to 10 at most, 10 being the absolute maximum that I would recommend, but really try and aim it towards 5 because for your video to get on somebody's For You page, there's a certain amount of criteria that it has to meet. And if you spam a whole bunch of hashtags in there, their algorithms are so complex at this point that you're going to run into issues because it will be too finely curated and it will show it to very few content creators. Like I was saying before, you want to have very simple hashtags too. So, in our case, we work with a lot of people that are in wheelchairs. We work with a lot of people that have neuromuscular diseases, that are aging, and so having hashtags like wheelchair or disability awareness or nursing home reform or nursing home or aging, you want to use very concise and simple hashtags. And when you look up a hashtag while you're in the post editing stage, they'll estimate how many viewers or how many recent posts each of those hashtags has on it. And so it's helpful to use that as a reference. Like, okay, 20 million people have used this hashtag. So the chances that I'm going to be at the top of this list, it might be a little bit slim, but at the same time, it's a popular hashtag nonetheless, and it's going to curate that audience to you, the other people that have liked those hashtags in the past or post with using that hashtag. The 10 to 20 post rule is pretty self-explanatory. You really don't want to try and talk about your GoFundMe. You don't want to try and talk about a product that you have to offer or the fundraising that you're trying to do. You really want to spend the first 10 to 20 posts on your account saying, "Hi, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is what my daily life is like. Here's this burrito that I ate earlier. Here's a funny thing that happened to me last week. Here's my mom playing a song on guitar." It could be really anything, but it's a part of the warming process is letting your potential community get to know you and get to know what type of content you make. Now, if you're just constantly talking about fundraising in the first 10 to 20 posts, then your audience is just going to say, okay, this person might exclusively be here just to fundraise. And that's definitely not the case. You're there to network, you're there to raise awareness, you're there to share your life and share your story with them. So you want to get a little bit creative with how you spend your first 10 to 20 posts. As far as flaggable activity, I think I provided examples for most of these. Oh, I guess I could just very briefly go over inclusion versus over-inclusion. So, inclusion is uh, primarily about making sure that you have the same independence on these platforms as everybody else does. So, when I say you, I'm talking about people that have disabilities, both physical and cognitive impairments, as well as people that are aging. Digital inclusion is a very important field that makes sure that everyone from low to high income, as well as low to high ability, are capable of getting access to the daily systems that we need in order to function, in order to thrive. Over inclusion is about having more than your fair share amount of time in the spotlight. So we're social creatures, but we aren't designed to talk to thousands of people on a daily basis. It's not something that I mean, in a modern society, we've gotten closer and closer to the ability to maintain it and manage that. There's tools that you can use to help you keep in touch with the communities that you make. And there's even tools that you can use to help you remember information about the communities that you make. But at the same time, having more than your fair share amount of time in the spotlight gives you, or it can lead to what's called parasocial interactions or parasocial relationships. And it's where you have an entirely or very much so one-sided relationship. So you can, I mean, this is me generalizing here, but let's think about a lot of the popular e-girl and e-boy streamers like Pokimane or XQCW or Ludwig or Asmongold or I mean I could just go on and on and on about all of these young adults that have anywhere from 5 to 50,000 people in their live streams at once every time that they go live. Being subjected to that dogpiling, even if it's people that are being completely kind to you, you're still going to kind of lose track of certain scenarios. You're going to lose track of certain identities or founding imaginations or beliefs that you have. And it's really important to find a good way to balance that out as a content creator, as a live streamer, as an influencer. So part of over inclusion is just about being it's called mindful minimalism, and it's just about making sure that you are very carefully curating and consuming whatever material that is put in front of you. And that includes chats from viewers, right? It includes what's on your feeds. There are tools that you can use that help mitigate the amount of information that are in your feeds. There are computer browser extensions that make it so that your social media pages and your social media feeds are empty by nature, and you have to look for what you want to actually find before it shows you anything. There's no algorithm pushing stuff to you. Lastly, I mean, we've already talked about links before, but I just really want to emphasize that TikTok is very, very strict about links. If you send them in DMs, they start to have a problem. The more that you send them in DMs, the more that you put them in your posts. Putting a link in your bio when you don't have a link feature unlocked on your account, you have to be over 1,000 followers to be able to do that. If you put a link in your bio, it makes it extremely hard for you to get new followers because they become suspicious of you. So, just really quick, one last review of these just because we've talked about so much. You want to warm your account. Establish yourself as a human on the application. Who you follow and who you interact with will determine who TikTok shows your profile to. So make sure to keep a wide and dynamic range of people in your feeds and in your follow list. Using too many hashtags or non-specific hashtags will too finely curate your content for their algorithms. It makes it really difficult for them to put you on your For You page, and you could be getting a whole lot more potential traffic if you very carefully think about what kind of demographics you're looking to reach, and then using very simple 1 or 2 word hashtags. And then the 10 to 20 post rule, avoid any form of advertisement, promotion, sharing in the first 15 to 20 posts you make. And really this extends much further beyond, you really want to make sure that you're not primarily just posting advertisements on your page. You want to make sure that you have, in 5 posts, you want 4 of them to be, hey, this is an update. I just wanted to share this aspect of my daily life with you. And then one of those posts, you have 4 about posts, and then you have 1 advertisement post. Hey guys, thanks for following me. Thanks for sharing my page. I just wanted to tell you about this fundraising that I'm doing for this particular experience that I'm trying to fundraise for, or these supplies that I need, whatever it might be. But you want to have a fairly well balanced content output. Thank you guys very much for taking the time to check this out. This is something that we have been wanting to talk about for a while, and we do get the opportunity to talk about it in our interviews quite a bit. But we also try and let our interviews just be focused on our guests and their stories and their specific limitations so that we can naturally document those, and then we come up with solutions and develop responses to them. So this is a very scattered example of what that might be. We've been meaning to make something for visually impaired individuals, so we're going to be going through and making a lot of videos like these to document all of our different guides that we've made so far. for people with visual impairments and so on and so forth. Thank you guys so much again for tuning in. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment below.